Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the British Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, the Caliban. Now this is a tank that, on initial impressions and telling you guys now, for 13.5k gold is not worth it. And if you are going to buy it, do not take this tank seriously. This tank is not a serious tank, it's a meme tank. If you want to play it seriously, it's not going to go that well. There's a lot of tanks that are out there that are far better for 13.5k gold. I mean, a lot of them are probably like 7k gold. I mean, realistically, look at the Ultimate Season Pass for 6k gold and get the T41 Ni1, the 10-shot all-loading Bulldog. You get that for 4k gold. That tank is incredible and a hell of a lot of fun. This tank can be fun too, but it's a meme, and it doesn't happen that often, okay? So, yeah, just... It's a meme tank, and I want to get that across and clear to you guys. This is a meme tank, right? Don't take it seriously. It can be a lot of fun, but it can be seriously frustrating too. So it's best not to take it seriously, because then you won't get as frustrated when it lets you down, which, you know, can be quite often. So this is the skin that you get with the Caliban for buying it for 13.5k gold, and yeah, it's a pretty nice skin for the tank. I think it looks pretty cool, to be honest. And it is a funky looking tank. It's just like the G-Saw or the G-Saw 1008. But it's got this turret and this big honking gun. And this big honking gun hits for a lot, but it doesn't hit very often. So, let's go and have a look at the tank. So, the stats for this tank, here we go. So, you've got a 950 horsepower engine, and you've got a 33 km/h top speed. You are not the heaviest heavy tank in the world, so you actually have a 23.36 horsepower per ton ratio, which means that you hit your top speed of 33 km/h pretty damn easily. So you don't really need off-road driving to help with these ground resistances, because you'll hit it pretty easily, and yeah, 33 km/h is slow. So yeah, this tank has 33 km/h top speed, which is pretty slow. Yeah. You could run traction system and go up to 36 km/h, but to be honest, this tank really needs help with everything else, so you're not going to be taking the traction system. 12 km/h reverse speed is also very, very slow. It's just not very good at all. 20% fire chance. This thing will get set on fire quite a lot, and you have to bear that in mind, and yeah, that will be a bit of pain. You've got 1500 hit points, which is not that bad. It's about right for a tier 8 heavy. And a 30 degrees a second hull traverse speed. Now, it does sound like it's not that bad, but in reality it does feel a little bit slow, so you might help that out with clutch braking in your cruise skills. The ground resistances, again, aren't actually that bad, so you don't really need off-road driving, and like I say, you will hit that 33 km/h top speed pretty easily. You've got 370 meters view range, which is not good, really. It's not good at all. You will need coated optics to be able to even hit anywhere near the view range of 445, which is what you optimally want to have, at least, to be able to not get outspotted by every man and his dog, because obviously you're a heavy tank and you have no camo, and obviously you don't want to be relying on your camo because you are a heavy tank. It has no camo, so bear that in mind. So you want to bump this view range as high as possible, so that if you are getting spotted, which you will get spotted all the time, you want to be spotting what's spotting you. So this tank does have two guns. It has two guns. That is this auto-reloading gun, and then a single shot gun. We will have a look at the single shot in a minute, but this is the auto-reloading gun. First of all, on the turret, you've got 23 degrees a second turret traverse speed, which is really slow, so you're going to use rapid aim to help that. Your accuracy during turret rotation is utterly abysmal. It is a big derp gun, so it's utterly abysmal. You'll want to help that as well. You've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is fantastic, and 12 degrees of elevation, which is not the best, but at the same time, it's not going to hinder you, so that's okay. So with the auto-reloading gun, don't believe this rate of fire of 3.25 rounds a minute, because the single shotgun actually has less, and it will tell you it has less. Don't believe it, because the single shotgun fires faster than this one. This is because auto-reloaders aren't... It's misleading. That's what it is. It's misleading, because auto-reloaders are calculated as firing the second shot in the gun all the time and keeping the best DPM you've got until literally the very last second, and then you'll just fire the second shell in the clip. And that's how it gets this. Whereas obviously the single shotgun doesn't have that, so it technically has a slower rate of fire, or RPM. You know. So it doesn't have that. It actually fires quicker than this, because the base reloads are 40 seconds for the first shell that's going to go into the clip, and 25 seconds for the second shell that's going to go into the clip. That's for the best one. It's pretty slow reloading. If you are using this auto-reloading gun, you are only going to stick to firing this one shot here, and then fire the second when you can kill something, and you have to kill something. But never dip into it, because 65 seconds on a reload, obviously it'll be better with crew skills and stuff like that. 65 seconds on a reload is horrific, and there's too many times in a game where you're going to get so left behind, and it's not going to be good. You've got, like I say, 0.58 accuracy, which is horrendous. Absolutely awful. You're going to miss most shots at range. You're going to want to be pretty close up with this gun. You've got a 4.10 second aim time, which again is absolutely atrocious. It's one of the worst aim times for a gun in the game. One of them. It's almost as bad. It's actually worse than the OI at tier 6, which is mental. 4.10 seconds is horrific. A 3.75 second intro clip is not actually bad for the alpha that's on this tank. So yeah, it's not that bad, to be honest. The intro clip, it's just because you hit that hard, right? You get 30 rounds, which you'll never fire ever. You do get 2 shells, right? You get a HESH shell, and it says APCR, but it's actually AP. But that's just the way the game is. When it's a premium shell and it's AP, for some reason it just says it's APCR. But yeah, so you get HESH and you get APCR. On the HESH, you have 180 penetration, which is good enough at tier 8 and against lightly armoured tanks, but will struggle at tier 9 and 10, to be honest, unless you hit the weak spots, which this gun will extremely struggle to hit. And you've got 292 AP pen, which is utterly ludicrous. You pen most things with that if you hit it in the right spot, because that's the problem. It doesn't like hitting things in the right spot. But 292 pen is insane, and you will hit and pen things quite easily if you get them in the side or hit them in the weak spots. 2.7k DPM, by the way, is again misleading because of the way that they calculate it on auto reloaders. It's never that in a million years, so ignore that. So you've got 850 alpha on your HESH and 600 on the AP. Now that is great on the AP, and that's utterly fantastic on the HESH. If you pen that, that is filthy, and honestly, that's why this tank is fun, and that's where the tank is a bit memey, right? Is those HESH pens. But bear in mind, it doesn't pen that often. You have to hit the right spot, and hitting the right spot with 0.58 accuracy is just horrific. So you really have to bear this in mind. I'm drilling into you. This tank isn't that good, because it has a meme, and this HESH is the meme. But it only works in certain situations and very rarely, right? So yeah. 2.67 blast radius is not that good for a 152mm gun. I want to say that most are going at 3.5 to 4 meters splash radius, which means you actually do more damage when you hit armor plates because you splash over a larger section. But you still do roll for like 200, 300 if that, you know, with the HE if you don't pen, so that's alright. And here we get to where the ammo is just horrible. 354 shell velocity on the HE, which is utterly atrocious. It's awful. And 500 meters a second on the AP is also utterly shocking. If you're firing at distance, this is just not going to hit very often at all. You really have to give massive amounts of lead. And if you're firing at a tank where you can see into the miles into the distance, you're not going to hit, because the shell will just loop off and fire into the distance. Because, yeah, the shell velocity is horrific and the shells loop. Although with 350 meters a second shell velocity, you can actually RBRT over a ridgeline and not have to poke against quite a few tanks, because it will just loop the shells over the top of it if they're stationary, and that can be a bit of a meme. But yeah, on the whole, that is awful, and this gun is shocking. You really have to be up close to make the most of it. You really, really do. Okay, so let's go have a quick look at the single shotgun. So here is the single shotgun. We're going to go have a look at the stats for that. And here we go. Instead of a 25-second reload, you get a 22.5-second reload. So it does actually fire quicker, even though the rate of fire is slower according to this. Like I say, it's misleading. DPM's lower as well, but like I say, again, misleading. Because obviously if you fire quicker, technically, on the best DPM that auto-reloader shell is going to get, it's going to be slower than this, lower than this, right? Okay, so bear that in mind. But yeah, you get a 0.52 accuracy instead of 0.58, which is far better. Aim time's still horrific, but 0.52 is still derpy, so yeah, it's not that great. But yeah, so that's the difference in the gun, realistically. Okay, you do get a slightly better reload, and you get 0.52 accuracy. Personally, I think this gun, is actually better to use, especially if you use the ammo swapper equipment, because there's many times where you're going to have a awkward moment where you go, oh, I need AP, while you're mid-reload on the first shell, or on the second shell, sorry, and you end up reloading the whole clip for 65 seconds by accident, and it happens a lot. It's very, very frustrating. Whereas with this gun, while you're reloading this, you can think, okay, I need AP a hash. You can, be ready for whatever occasion hits you. So in terms of equipment on the Caliban, I run optics, like I say, to make the view range be able to actually spot for yourself. Vert stabs to make the gun better, because, oh boy, it needs it. It really, really needs it so badly. And ammo swapper, or the advanced reload, because it doesn't get a gun rammer. I have the advanced reload because there's many times where the hesh isn't adequate, and there's many times where you can just splash a target to death and you don't need to pen it, so you're better just launching the hesh at people. Okay, the ammo swapper is like the lifeblood of the tank. It makes it a lot more bearable to play, and you'd realise that you're not having the worst ammunition type for the situation you're going into, which is nice. In terms of consumables, same as always, large repair kit, first aid kit, and food. Food to make the reload better, make the accuracy better, make everything better about the tank, generally. And then on the crew, which I've put in the Charlemagne, you want to run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Rapid Aim, Clutch Braking, Steady Aim, Snapshot, and Run and Gun. Now, run and gun, you're not really going to be taking many shots on the move, but being 10% more accurate while moving will mean that your gun won't bloom as much while you are on the move. So it'll make it slightly quicker to be set for when you're slow, or when you stop, essentially. Snapshot and steady aim, because you want to make this gun better. You really, really need to make it better. Oh god, it's horrific. You need to make it better. Rapid aim, because the turret traverse is terrible, and you need to make the turret traverse far better. And clutch braking, because, like I say, the track traverse is a little bit slow, and I want to just make that mobility feel a little bit better with the clutch braking, and make the the whole traverse a little bit better. So let's put it in the Caliban and see what you get the stats down to with it. So with the single shotgun, as you can see here, you get down to 18.65 reload on this gun with that setup. 0.34 accuracy, which isn't actually that bad, but it's still horrific. Trust me, it's not that good. It says 0.34, but it still feels horrendous. And a 3.78 aim time, which is still not great. Yeah, it's still not great. It still can be painful. Trust me on that. And obviously you get a 473 meters view range with this setup as well, which is nice. Which is going to be great for you to be able to spot for yourself. If we put the auto-reloading gun on, we will have a quick look at that, and you'll see what you get. So here you go. You get 20.72 reload on the best shell, and 33.15 on the worst. So, a 54 second reload near enough for the full clip, which is very, very long. You get 0.38 accuracy as well, which is, again, pretty horrific. 3.78 seconds on the aim time. I still say the single shot is better because it's just nicer to use in a lot more situations, and like I say, you don't have the frustration of accidentally reloading this whole clip. But this double tap is filthy, and this double tap can help you in a lot of situations and get you out of a lot of dirty situations if you pen the hesh, and that it can be dirty. In terms of the armour on the heavy tank, because it is a heavy tank, you want to have a quick look at this. The turret armour is basically, if you are on a ridgeline and you're using your gun depression, this turret armour can bounce quite a lot, but this cupola will be pennable. It can ricochet shots. It's not paper, so you're not going to get penned automatically by everything, but it's not the best, so you will still get penned. You don't want to just sit there going, haha, I'm hull down, I'm invulnerable, because it's not going to work like that. You will still get penned a lot in these turret cheeks here, you have to be using your full gun depression and just wiggling, right? In terms of hull armor, you get 130mm across the whole lot. It's, again, not the best. It will ricochet a decent amount of shots if you angle, and you can bounce shots if people underestimate it. Again, it's not pure paper, so, you know, facing your own tier, you can ricochet shots here and there, but don't rely on it because it's not that great, to be honest. And here is a key weakness of the tank, okay? It's a very, very key weakness of the tank, and that is the side armor. So the side armor, as you see here, is 35mm of armor. You cannot side scrape in this tank whatsoever. And also look at that box there. That can get penned. If you're facing someone like this, they will if they have a higher than if they have around a 120mm gun, they're always going through your side armor. Okay, always. If they have, I think it's a 106mm caliber gun plus, they will go through the side every single time. If you're hiding your side, but they can only see your turret and this bit here, they will automatically pen it and overmatch it. They will overmatch this side. You cannot side scrape in this tank. Don't try it. You're better just to swing your front round the corner and bait them to shoot the upper plate while you try and shoot them. Most of the time, you're going to play this like a glass cannon and you're going to try and smash people with it. But on the whole, the Caliban is not that good of a tank. It's definitely not worth 13.5k gold. If it was on discount and you like memes, possibly. But it's far too much money for a tank that is pretty poor in every regard. It just has a meme, and that is this gun with the Hesh. The Hesh at close range is very, very memey, and you can have very, very funny moments with it. But for the most part, it's a pretty garbage tank, okay? I don't want anyone to have that illusion that it's good. So I'm going to send you into the replays, where you can see the two best games I had with both the auto-reloader and the single shot, and two of the more average games that I've had with those two guns as well. Or slightly less than average games, either ones. So, I'll see you in the replays, everybody. So here we are in the replays with the Caliban, and as you can see, we're top tier in this first game, which is the more average game for the double tap. We are using the auto-reloader. And like I say, when you're using this auto-reloader, generally, you want to not fire the second shot. Because it's really frustrating when you do, and you don't pen or you miss. And then you have to sit through the very, very long reload that this tank can get. And what you're going to see from this replay is just how derpy the gun is. And also how frustrating it can be if you misuse the ammo swapper. Which is why I do say that the single shot for a lot of people will probably be better. Because if you use the ammo swapper, which, like I say, is the lifeblood of the tank, it's so useful to have so that you can use the right ammunition for the right situation. A lot of people will accidentally reload the clip by pressing A and thinking, oh, I need AP when they're like 2 seconds out, and then reload the whole clip, and it's just, yeah, it's so annoying. Whereas with the single shot, you don't have that. But this double shot is deadly, right? If you catch someone out that you can pen really easily, and you can double tap them, 2 shots of 850 is going to hurt. And against tier 8s, that will 2-tap. That will kill someone most of the time. The problem is against tier 10s that you're going to struggle to pen anything with 180 pen, unless it's like a medium tank like a Leopard. You're going to use the AP, but even then you've got to hit the weak spots with the AP, and that is pretty bad. So here we get the first shot, and we fire it at the Caliban, and right now, this is the first game I'm playing, I want to pen someone with this Hesh. So I see the Caro P8C8, and I'm like, you know what, Caro, I'm just going to dump my shells, and I'm frustrated that I didn't pen the Caliban, but I'm going to pen you, essentially. Now, obviously, the thing with the ammo swapper is that you cannot swap your ammunition, just like it is on some of the other auto-loaders that have it. If you only have one shell loaded, you cannot switch ammunition because it will reload the whole clip. So bear that in mind. There's a lot of situations where you might fire one, which is Hesh, and pen someone and kill them, but then there's a heavily armoured tank that you need AP, and you think, oh, I need AP, and you go to load the AP, and obviously it reloads the whole clip, and you're like, crap, didn't mean it. And you're seeing here just how long it takes to load the clip. You're out the game for a very long time doing what I just did there, and it's very, very frustrating in that regard. So that's where the Hesh is painful, though. So you saw what we did with the Caliban there, the opposition Caliban. We aimed at the engine compartment. And we ended up hitting the engine compartment above his space armor and penned him for 915. It's honestly, some of the rolls you can get with it are absolutely dirty, and it's very, very satisfying when you do. Like I say, you do have to hit the right spot though, and that can be a frustrating part. So we try and snap a shot into the T-34-100 there. I was thinking, do I go for the shot? Maybe not. And so I see the Skoda T-56 is coming up, and I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to go help this bloke, this Projector 54 with me now, and go kill him. I'm thinking, actually, I might need the AP. Yeah, I might need the AP. Ah, did you see what we all did there? I thought I'd reloaded. I pressed it too soon. I thought I'd reloaded, and I pressed A to get the AP in so I could fire at the Skoda T-56 so I could pen it with the AP. And unfortunately, I did it too soon, and now I'm reloading the whole clip again for 54 and a bit seconds. Yep, that happened. And trust me, you will do it quite a bit because you'll think, oh, I'm loaded, press A. Oh, you really have to make sure you are loaded so that you can, you know, not have to suffer this clip and suffer waiting for the reload again. So we're still on 2k damage. We fired our last shot nearly 2 minutes ago. Alright? Or, no, it's about a minute and a half ago. 2 minutes is harsh, right? So, yeah, nearly a minute and a half ago was the last time we fired our shell. And that's because we've been stuck in the reload. We see this Jagdpanther 2 struggling with the Challenger, so it's like, okay, we're going to fire at this guy. We've loaded AP so we can pen it. We didn't give it enough lead, I should say. The AP round, with its horrific shell velocity, really let us down. We didn't aim it well enough, and it's a very, very difficult target to hit. When you're firing it, I mean, that wasn't even that long a range, and it struggled so badly. But now, this is where the double tap is going to come in handy. Both these tanks are one-shots. We can splash both tanks and kill them in one hit. So what we're going to do is, we're going to splash this one to death, the T-34-100. The shell's going in, it's like, where's the other one? Oh, hello, slap. And we've killed both of those two tanks in one clip. Now, obviously, we're in a really long reload, but they were both threats, and we got rid of both of those guys in the clip. And we didn't have to pen them, we just splashed them to death. That's a nice feature. But now they're in the cap. There's two in the cap, and it's like, oh god, I'm not going to reload the whole clip before they cap out. Or I might do just about. I was kind of hoping the Dragon might spot, but the Dragon's not doing it, so it's like, I thought I might spot the cap there, but I don't. So it's like, okay, I've got a YOLO, I've got to go in and spot. I've got to use my hit points to spot. Now I've spotted their Dragon, I'm like, please Dragon, shoot him. He's going to have a lot of cap points. Then we spot a Challenger, and I'm looking, I can't shoot it. The Dragon shoots it, but he hasn't got any of the cap points, and unfortunately we lose. I don't actually have the end screen for that game, so that's annoying, but it is what it is. We finished with the 2.3k damage, and we lost. There was a bit of frustration in that game, like I say, with the reloads and with using the ammo swapper and accidentally swapping before I reloaded. Like I said, that's where the pain is. But a lot of my games ended pretty much like that in this tank. A lot of games have ended like that, where you manage to do like 2.3k damage, 2.4k damage, and the game ends. And that's it. Or you end up being on a flank, attacking a flank with like 3 or 4 other people, and before you manage to get 3 or 4 shots out, everyone's dead and you die. Because when this thing gets singled out and people YOLO it, it doesn't tend to end well for you. Unless, obviously, you're fully loaded and you manage to get both shots out. But most of the time, if someone's full health, they will basically kill you. They will lose probably most of their health doing it, but they will kill you. There's no hope of standing a chance against it, to be perfectly honest. And, yeah, that's definitely really annoying. But I've had a lot of games as well where it's just like, because it is a derp gun, you have to expect it. It is, like I say, it's a meme tank. Don't take it too seriously. There is a lot of games where you're going to fire lots of shots and they're just never going to hit. And you're going to do like 600-700 damage because you should hit 1 shell out of 7 or 8. And that happens a lot. This second game, we're bottom tier against tier 10s. And we're on Pilsen, which is a good map for us. And this is the best game I had with the double tap. We load AP for the IS-7. We pen him through his upper plate at an angle because we have 292 pen, which is great. But we get penned by an FV 4005 firing AP. Again, he overmatches our whole tank most places. So in one shot, we've lost most of our hit points, and it's gone. And I saw the FV 4005 and went, "Ooh, Hesh time!" And I only have one shell loaded in the clip, which meant I've got to sit through this reload again. I made that mistake once again. It's so frustrating when you do it. And I'm waiting for the shell. I'm thinking, is this 4005 poking out? Am I going to be able to get him with one shell? But no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have to hide and wait for the shells to go in, because otherwise I'm just not going to be effective. Again, you have to play very, very passively in this tank. You cannot be that aggressive, because it's just not going to work and it's not going to go well. But we get spotted and it's like, wait, did that 4005 drive down the A line? Yes, he did. We've got both shells in. We managed to slap one Hesh at him for 847. And I'm like, you know what? This is the chance for the double tap to work its magic. We make sure we lead it properly. Slap him again for 792. Most of his hit points gone in 2 shots. That's a 4005 that is deadly. Pretty much gone. And then the Yag Tiger finishes him off. That's where this tank can be great. When you face a tank like that you can easily pen, you can deal so much damage to them in 2 shots. If they fire and miss, you can really punish them. But you have to make sure that the shell's fully aimed, led properly, and then hope that RNG graces you with hitting them. Fortunately enough for me, both shells hit his turret, both shells penned, and we put him down to a 1-shot, and one of our team managed to finish him off. But now we're waiting for the reload once again. Waiting for these shells to go in, because I'm thinking, do I need AP or Hesh? I don't know yet, but I have to wait for the whole clip to be in to use the ammo swapper properly. Otherwise, I'm going to reload the shells again. I want to make that as clear as possible to everyone. Don't press A or whatever your reload button is if you only have one tank in the clip. Or one shell in the clip. If you had a tank, if you're firing tanks from this gun, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, if you only have one shell in the clip, don't use the advanced ammo swapper and press A or whatever your reload button is, because you will reload the whole clip and you will spend 54 seconds, 55 seconds, whatever it is, reloading, and that's frustrating. But that's the other thing with the auto-reloader, to be perfectly honest with you, and that's where you want the advanced reload, is the ability to swap your ammo, because if you spend all that time loading Hesh, you're going to be stuck firing Hesh. And it's not going to be very helpful. So right now, this IS-7 ends up getting caught out. He's pushed very aggressively. We managed to get the drop on him, which is where this tank is perfect. It's the surprise tank. You catch someone by surprise. We managed to pen him for 547, get an IS-7 a tier 10 out of the game. Great. But we had Hesh loaded, and if we didn't have the advanced reload there, we wouldn't have been able to do that to that IS-7. We'd have had to fire Hesh at it and probably splash it for 150 something. But now we have Hesh in. The Conqueror fired, so we splashed him, because I don't want to fire the AP, because I don't have to risk bouncing. I just wanted to splash him, get him lower health, and fortunately enough for me, the Charlemagne finished him off. Now we're waiting for the final shell to go in. I was concerned that it was a tank destroyer or something back there at C8, 9, but when I'm not getting spotted doing this, it was like, okay, there's nothing there, I'm fine. But we are getting proxy spotted by this ISM, so we just got to be careful. Again, I don't want to get shut down at this point. It's not going to end well. But then there is actually a tank destroyer over there. We keep the AP in, because I could have loaded the Hesh, but I wanted the slightly better shell velocity to make sure that I could hit that Bullsig. And anyway, it didn't really matter, because no matter what we hit him with, we were going to kill him. We managed to finish off the Bullsig with the AP, and now we're waiting for this final reload to go in. And the plan is double tap. This is, again, there's nothing else around us. There's only this guy in front of us. He's fired. We've got 292 penetration. We're not going to struggle with this ISM, and we double tap him. He's gone. Again, that's where the tank is incredibly strong. If you load it, if you know you can finish something off with 2 shots like that, this double tap is far superior to the single shot, because we would have penned him for 600 once, and then we'd have had to wait to reload, wait for him to fire again, and then drop the shot in, right? It would have been frustrating, it would have been annoying, that's just the way it is. But we've still got the AP going, and there's this Vanguard yellowing about, so it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep the AP in again, because I want the shell velocity, and we're just looking for the shot on this Vanguard, and it's like, okay, I need to lead this shot properly. So there we go, we lead it, and we shoot our friend. Not our friend's fault, by the way. Not the Conqueror's fault at all. That was just bad timing. That was very, very bad timing. That was me going, I need to lead. Here's the lead. Pulls the trigger. And just as I pulled the trigger and realised far too late, my friend had driven in the way. Is what it is. We ended up wasting the reload, like I say, because the reload is just horrific. And, yeah, bad timing, bad moment. Annoying, but, yeah, frustrating is what it is. So we're going to get this shell in, and we're going after this E4. It's like, okay, where's the E4? That E4's there, which means I'm hoping he's facing this TD that's in front of him. And again, I'm waiting for my second shell, because I want to go around and get a double tap into this E4. Because I want to do a lot of damage. He ends up firing at the CS-52, gets a shot into him. It's like, well, hello, Mr. E4, I can pen you. The shell derps into his upper plate. But we managed to get the shot into his turret side there, and we finish him off. That's the E4 gone. We finished with the victory. 4 kills, 4.7k damage, ace tanker, and yeah, 2,000 base experience. A nice game for the Caliban with the double shot. The best game I've had with the double shot. And it was the best game I had in a sea of dreadful games, to be perfectly honest with you. But it showed effectively what the double shot can be good at in that game. Because you catch people out, you can kill them in 2 shots, you do it. You kill them in 2 shots, you can have a great time, you win, right? You kill them, it's a great time. And it can also be dirty when you do find a tank like the FE 4005 that I can pen easily with Hesh, and I just double tap the Hesh in, and you do like 1,600 damage in 2 shells. Oh, it's dirty. It's really fun. To be honest, I'd say the best way to play it is use the double shot. Have the advanced reload, obviously, but never fire the second shot. Always fire the first shell. Only stick with the first shell. Alright? Never fire that second shell unless you can kill something or you can truly hurt something like the FE 4005 and you know you can stay safe to reload the whole clip. And you'll have a good time. But, like I say, with the double tap, you can have the frustration of using the advanced reload and just clicking A or reloading your shells too soon and having to suffer that horrific reload, right? And that will be a pain. Also, if you get to an advanced position very quickly, you won't be ready to fire your gun either. Like on Pearl River, there's a lot of times where you might get into that middle and you're not ready to fire your gun, which will be awkward. And, yeah, it won't end well for you. Or should I say, you won't be able to fire and you have to wait, and it's just frustrating watching the enemies run away or get into a position where you can't shoot them, right? But now we're in the third game of this video, and now we're using the single shot. And as you see, we've got a set with food boost. We've got a 17.6 second reload, which isn't that bad, especially if you're firing 850 alpha rounds and you're penning them. Top tier, which is nice. It's a very, very long reload, though. Don't get me wrong, and you have to hope that the enemy team isn't that aggressive, and you can really work the shells in. Now, it's Overlord, and a lot of their team, Overlord Encounter especially, a lot of their team have spawned on the beach and stayed there. A lot of our team have come up. So what we're doing is we are making sure that they are suffering the terribleness of being on the beach. And that is that we can just fire down on them with impunity. They can't really retaliate at us very easily. And we can easily destroy them. Very, very easily. And there's not much they can do about it. The beach is a terrible place to go on this map. It's just dreadful. Now, we load AP so we can finish off the Eradicator. We should have loaded AP when we shot the CS-52 least, but I was kind of hoping for a Hesh pen on his engine deck or something like that, but it didn't quite work out. And now we're waiting for the shell to go in and looking at this King Tiger. He is next because he's the tier 8. We want to get rid of that guy. And if I shoot down on his roof and I find the right spot, I should be able to pen it quite easily. We make sure the shell's pretty much aimed in, and we pen it with Hesh for 607. Just like that, we finish him off. And like I said, this single shot's pretty nice. It's a simple way of playing the tank, right? That's the best way of putting it. It's probably the easiest way and the most comfortable way for a lot of people who probably know they won't resist the temptation to fire that second shell in the auto-reloader. This will be the simplest shell, and people will probably have the most effective games using this single shot. But like I say, just having that double tap is also incredibly effective. So now I decide, okay, I've got to deal with the top end of this map, because they've won this top end, and now there's only one tank left on the beach, and it's a T-78. It's a tier 6 TD against a tier 8 heavy and a tier 8 medium. So I'm like, okay, that T-78 is going to die. It's fine, right? I'm going to help my 2 medium tanks that are up here with me and try and clear out what's up here. So we find this Sturmpanzer, we load AP so we can guarantee finish him off, and we do. The Revelarice gets a shot into us, but he gets shut down by the Dragon, which is nice. And now we're being YOLO'd by the A44. And then there's a T-33-4 above us as well, and it's like, oh, this is awkward. We're just making sure we're getting shots on that guy, because he will really hurt us if he gets us. Then we try and load HE to hit this A44 and miss. Bad play to shoot like that. That was a waste, because that means we're really in a bad place right now. And actually, this guy should be overmatching me. He's got a 107mm gun. He should actually be overmatching my side, but luckily enough, he didn't pen it. Now we've got the HE in. We finish him off. I'm not too worried about the tier 6 wheelie boy behind me, because he's only penning me for like 50 damage, and right now I've got bigger hitting targets in front of us. The VK3001P rams himself to death on us. We're just waiting for the reload, but we're stuck because we're tracked, and we don't run track mechanic, and the defender finishes off. But fortunately enough, the game gets finished off by the Dragon. We finish with 6 kills, 2.6k damage, top gun, first class, 1556 base X, well, 1436 base XP, sorry, I read the Dragons. Good game from the Dragon, and unfortunately enough, he carried it through to the end. It's sort of a decent game for the Caliban. That was probably a little bit above average, to be perfectly honest, for the single shot. But it was a decent game, and it showed you what happens when you end up getting singled out and just focused by tanks. You just really can't handle it that well, because you just don't have the reload for it. And again, you've got to hit the tanks, and you've got to make sure that you aim all your shots, which means you have, you know, not the biggest area of time to be able to actually hit them. Can be frustrating, but it is what it is. So we're on to the last game of the video. And it's been a pretty long video. Sorry about that, but I wanted to show you what sort of the more average games were for each gun, and then the best games I've had for each gun. And it can show you what you do when you play it correctly and play it, you know, sort of at the best it can be played at. And we're on Heilbronn, and I'm deciding, you know what? I'm going to go to where I normally go on Heilbronn, and this little ridge line in front of me here, because I can try and catch anyone that crosses the 9-0 line out. I might be able to get a cheeky Hesh shell into someone's side, pen them for 850 at the start of the game. That would be beautiful. Or I can pen them with the AP. There's a Dragon directly in front of us. We boost our view range with the food so that we can try and spot anything that's crossing. But so far, nothing seems to be crossing. And I'm just waiting. I'm being a bit patient. But by now, you have usually spotted something that's crossing. It's like, okay, there's nothing here. This Dragon's running away, so I'm expecting there's no help with this Dragon at all. So it's like, okay, I'm going after this Dragon. We pen him with the Hesh for 850 and then burn him out. So that one shell that we fired at him did 1100 damage with the fire. Oh, when you pesh people... When you pesh people? Yeah, when you pesh people with the Hesh. Yeah, when you pen people with the Hesh... It's dirty. The damage rolls are filthy. You do so much damage, it's great. So there's our opposition Caliban, and I'm like, I don't want to get hit by that guy. But we launched the shell of Hesh at him, splash him for like 300. He ends up hitting us with AP, and again, I'm not sure how he didn't pen us there. I would be angry if that was that guy. To be honest, actually, probably what he did was he hit so low on the tracks that he actually fully missed the tank and just hit the tracks. That's probably what happened. We load AP to deal some major damage to this Atomic, but unfortunately we bounce 292 pen off his front. Really frustrating. It's really frustrating when you miss shots like that. But then I realised I can't back up from these three guys. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this train cart in front of me to cover me so I'm safe. And these guys can't actually attack me because I've got enough friends behind me that if they push around to attack me, they're going to get penned a lot. So I'm actually safe here, which is quite surprising. We've been very aggressive. We're in a very, very unorthodox position. But it's working out. Now we've got this WZ-111 in front of us. It's like, okay, I'm going to load Hesh and see if I can get his lower plate. Because I can get his lower plate, I can deal some massive damage to him. We'll fire the Hesh, but unfortunately the shell goes to the far left of the reticle, tracks him in place, and he does like, what, 150 damage? Not enough damage for that reload at all. But we did track him in place and got a little bit of assistance. We would have been better firing AP there because we would have just buttered that guy no matter what. So we actually load the AP this time. We learn from our mistakes, slap it in, pen him for 500 odd, track him in place, and we're just now hoping that our team will finish him off. We're loading the Hesh. This is again while we're reloading. We're making sure we've got the right ammunition ready for the next shot that we're going to fire. We're making sure we had the Hesh in so that we could just splash the WZ-111 and kill him in, you know, we didn't have to aim, essentially, or should I say aim to pen. We just had to splash him and kill him. But now we're pushing aggressively, and we're at 2.6k damage so far. They've got the TDs on their TD hill. They've also got people at C7 that camp there as well. So what we're going to try and do, and I was thinking, right, I want to kind of get round to A5 and up at their base there, so I can try and get a shot on their sides. But then we see this Yag Tiger, and it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to hesh this Yag Tiger and splash him to death, hopefully. We splash him, only do 169 damage, so we don't actually end up killing him, but we do put him down to a splashable for anyone else. But then this WZ1 level 1 GFT appears, and it's like, where have you been? Ow, that hurt. He hit me for nearly 600, which is painful. It does have a hard-hitting gun. But now we're loading the hesh, because we're shooting up. I'm hoping to have a good shot into his lower plate, which we do, and we slam the shell in for 902. Like I say, that's where this tank is so satisfying. When you pen those hesh shells, it's so juicy. So juicy. And that's where the meme is with the tank. Because it doesn't do it consistently at all. But you can do it, and it's pretty funny when it does happen. So fortunate enough, we end up ricocheting the T-54E1. I'm just concerned about possibly the heavy tanks coming out of the town and getting shots at us. But actually, we've got a T-30 and a Tortoise with us, so you know what? We've got backup, we've got friends. I'm going to back them up and help them out. And if, yeah, whatever happens, what will be, will be. This T-54E1 is actually backing up for them. We load the hesh, slap it into his side, trying to avoid his tracks. And we did, and we splashed him for, well, we penned him, sorry, for 833. Beautiful, beautiful pens with the hesh. Like I say, when you pen with this hesh, it's so dirty, it's beautiful. And it's just where the meme is. But I want to put in ahead, again, like I say, the tank doesn't do it consistently enough. And 13.5k gold is a lot of money for this tank. And for a tank that is so inconsistent, and a tank that really requires games to be pretty slow, which don't happen that often, 13.5k gold is not worth it. You may as well, like I say, buy the auto-loading Bulldog for 4k. Well, you spend 6k gold on the Ultimate Pass, but essentially you're paying 4k gold because you get 2k gold back with the Season Pass. You know, you're basically paying 4k for it. But there's so many other tanks out there that are just flat out better, right? I mean, you're talking Sergeant Slaughter or the T-54E2, T1L PC, or the TL1L PC, or the Draugen, or the Ragnarok, or Earthshaker. You know, there's so many tanks that are so much better, but this is a meme, and you can, like I say, you can have a lot of fun with it. So right now, we've managed to get onto the heavy tanks in the town. We've managed to get into a surprise position. We get a nice shot into the side of the VK101P. Puts us on to 5.1k damage. We're just waiting for the reload, and I want to go around on this guy, but he's actually moved up the one line, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get this guy. We're going to YOLO this Type 4 heavy, because I've got a good enough pen that I can just destroy this bloke. So we're going to get up on his side, auto-aim the shot into his side, and I was kind of hoping to actually ammo rack him, damage ammo rack and pen him, but it doesn't happen. He ends up spinning us on us. He tracked us so he couldn't move anymore, and he ends up spinning us over so we're on our side. And I think this guy's looking at us and he's probably laughing his ass off. And in that moment, we managed to get reflipped back up onto our front, or back the way we should be, and then we get to finish him off. Funny end to the game. We're finished with 2 kills, nearly 6k damage, bit of blocked, ace tanker, sniper, high caliber, Confederate medal, 2.1k base XP. A really nice game for the Caliban. The best game I've had in it so far. Like I say, it can be fun, but it can also be incredibly frustrating. And for 13.5k gold, I don't think it's worth it. And there's a lot better out there. If it's half price for a meme, it's definitely there. But it is a meme tank, don't take it seriously. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.